Hey, what's up guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to purge or bleed your ABS system, or how to completely like change all the fluid on your ABS system. But I want to show you something else. I want to show you a hydrographic film dip steering wheel. I did this one last week. It takes a minute to detail all the parts when you hydro dip stuff. It's easy, but some areas it's just not gonna reach. But as long as it's not visible, the front looks pretty cool. I got a center console, the same. Even if you open it, you still see carbon fiber. It's hydrographics, and I will show you how to do all this in case you're interested. My front, I did black and carbon fiber. I still gotta do the AC vents. I still gotta like hydro dip those too. This, you see, is fully functional. Seats are perfect. The sunroof headliner. The headliner, after I fix it, looks pretty cool. I still gotta get that part there, but I was able to finish the center console. At the bottom we still have carbon fiber. So okay, so to bleed your ABS system or purge it, if you don't own a shop like me and you don't have a lift like me, then you need 2 towers like that. I think those are capable of 2 tons each, and then you need a jack. But the most important tool that you need to bleed your ABS system, because you're gonna do this by yourself, you're not gonna need help of nobody. These are 316 clear hose. I was able to get this from AutoZone. It used to, this one was meant to be a pump. But the way that the pump was, it didn't work for me. So basically I just removed the hose with the cap, and that's everything that I'm going to need. But if you cannot find this, just find a 316 clear hose. Use the cap, from the actual, bottle, whatever bottle you want to use, and just drill it. Try to put the hose in there, and just put a little silicone so the hose don't move. You don't want the hose moving back and forward. So basically you just need this, 2 of these little towers thingies, and a jack, just to complete this project. If you don't know, for people that really don't know, you look at the bottom of your car, you can see that you have lifting points. Let me show you one. I say, for instance, I lift my car from a distance right here. You see that frame right there? Use this part, lift it up. Don't use any of the soft spots, because the lift will go through the it's not even through the metal, because it's like very thin metal over there, and you can break it easily, or just vent it in. So that's you got two bars like this, you know, where you can support your stands. So let me lift this up. That's how it's supposed to look. Make sure you secure the jack by just twisting it clockwise, just to be secure, and you start lifting. Okay, once you have reached enough space to put the stand, just put the stand, but make sure you level that stand so it can support the frame and the car is not gonna hurt you. Now just very slowly, you won't have to drop the jack, and the stand is gonna catch. Once you move to the other side, just make sure that those two things, you know, kind of align together. Doesn't really have to, but it will give you a better balance. Now let's just drop it. Now what I just did right here, you know, can give you seriously injured if you don't know what you're doing. But as long as you support your stance good, you see how that stand is grabbing both of the ends inside, the other ones too. So you're doing this because what we want to do is we want to gravity level the car. That's basically what a lift does, you know, at a shop. But that's what we just doing, you know, with the stands and the jack. So the jack is gonna go underneath right here. Okay, once you're ready for the next step, what you're gonna have to do with the jack, lift it up first outside, and then just push it in, lift up like that. Just make sure you don't damage, you know, anything. And there's a metal plate right there in the middle. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna get close to it, but you're gonna have to lift it up from there. Make sure that you kind of like do this, you know, like from the middle, so you can have, you know, a better so we can bleed the system better. Now what I'm doing here, as I lift this up, the car is going up little by little. We had the stance in the front. This is going to take a little longer because it was up slow. Slowly but surely. It's okay not to have a lift for now. So as you can see, that car is not level. I have it way too up, you know, on this jack, so I have to go down a little. Going down. Let me see. You want kind of something, but still not like that. Still way too up in the back. And what means about gravity bleeding your system is that every single line, you know, is like straight. So that means if you try to bleed something, you know, gravity is just gonna help the lines, you know, like travel down, and that way you can bleed your system much better. Let me just make sure, you know, that the car is level. I still think that it's way too up in the back. If you follow this process, you might be able to do this in less than 2 hours. So I would say my car is like gravity level right there, and I explained to you why. The more the car is level, you know, the fluid is just gonna like go down. If you have the car like way too going that way, vertical like this, then it's just not gonna work. So let me just level the back, and then that show you, you know, the actual process. So my car is level now. So now the way that you do this process, you don't need to disconnect your battery or nothing like that. Just gotta open your hood. Look how clean that engine looks. If you've been watching the other videos, you see, you know, how I did this, you know, like in 3 weeks. That's just because it was mainly just cleaning. Parts, you know, I didn't spend that much because it was just thermal gaskets and just a few things over there, you know. Car, you know, like performs super good. So okay, the way that you do this, you gotta open your ABS cap reservoir. This one right here, you gotta be careful with ABS oil. It actually, you know, like corrode things, like it makes them, you know, oh, kills everything. You gotta make sure, you know, that it's completely full. Let me go get my other, no, I don't need to get my fluid right now, but make sure you use I'll let you know what type you use. But the way that you do it, you gotta start from the back. So you gotta start from the farthest point, you know, of the ABS module. So ABS module is right here at the back here. So then you gotta start on that one, on the rear, this one right here. Then you gotta use this one right here. So it's rear passenger, rear driver, front passenger, and then you finish in the front over there. Let me go get my, I think we need like a 11-12 millimeter wrench. Okay, if you're doing this by yourself, which I'm pretty sure that you are, make sure that your master cylinder, you know, reservoir, you know, is like completely full, and close it back. And you closing it back because you don't want air, you know, like going into the through the master cylinder. So this is only when you do the bleed. Then we're gonna have to clean the car, you know, like spray some degreaser back there, you know, water, and then add some WD-40 just to make the job, you know, good. So you're gonna have to understand that you're gonna probably use a whole bottle of fluid. It's dubbed for these cars. You got your 316. And let me show you how to do it. Just by yourself, no help. So I'm in the rear passenger wheel underneath the car. That's your caliper, brake caliper. That's your bleeder bulb. What we gotta do is grab a 11 millimeter wrench, put it here first. Then you gonna have to put your 316 hose. 316 hose is tight, so it's not gonna let, you know, like air, you know, going inside the system. However, you get like a little clamp or a zip tie, it's gonna work better. This is gonna support more the hose. It's not gonna let air escape, not as much. I mean, air go in, because you don't want air to go inside. Let me just put this little clamp for. Okay, when you're doing this, just make sure you know that the clamp is actually, you know, like grabbing the little ball, and the hose is like this. Now what you gotta do, you have to open your valve. Just open it. As you can see, you already start having that. So what you gotta do, now you gotta go to the front and press on the brakes. I'm sorry I'm not able to show you, you know, what's going on back there, but I will. So right here, just press your brake. And you can press it again. And again. Now you go and check. Now I'm gonna try to position the camera right here so you guys might be able to see. So once you press it 10 times, you're gonna have to come back over here and make sure that that thing still has, you know, like fluid. Not much, you know, like came out of the that line. I didn't see any bubbles, but I'm gonna do it again to see if we have any more bubbles. And you're gonna see every single line that I'm going to do, just so you can be completely sure that you want to do this by yourself. So I'm gonna press the brakes 10 times more, but first I'm gonna open the valve. Oh, my valve was open. You see, it's still air like coming out of that line. That's good. Look at all that air. Okay, I'm gonna press it 10 times to release that air. Come back over here and close your valve. I believe that's good for this line. So as you can see, that line has no more bubbles. So now you can completely close your valve. Get the little clamp out the way. Disconnect this thing. Just let the fluid go down. It's very important for you to have fluid here, and it's very important for you to not dirty, you know, like make a mess here, because you don't want rust in these parts. So later on, you know, we're gonna have to come and clean them. Make sure you close the valve good. That valve's good, and there was no more air coming out of the that. I believe 20 times pressing your brakes for each line, you know, it's good. You see the air doesn't go back. There's no, as long as you keep your reservoir closed, you shouldn't have no problems. So we're gonna do now the other side, which is this one. Let me check my cylinder, master cylinder reservoir. I use so I can have a little more fluid. Yeah, it's a little low, but .4, remember. Now if you don't have good pulse, don't even do this, because you're gonna do a mess. You see how I did a mess back there? But you know, you can do worse. I think I fill it up way too much, but you see that air escaping from the reservoir? That's what we wanted. Now when I put this, it's a lot of fluid that's gonna escape, but I will clean it, guys, believe me. It's just doing the bleeding the system, you know. It's not it's a dirty job, you know. Let me set this up for the rear driver side. This is for the rear driver side. You're gonna have to do almost exactly the same procedure. It's just a different tire. The wrench goes first. Right here. So you put it in. Put this all the way in, remember. And clamp it like good. That clamp's supposed to pass that hose. Use 2 hands. It's completely secure. Open it. Okay. Let me close this. Get a better position. So nail right there. Put this in. Really got space. You have to make it have space. Okay, it's in. Let me open this thing. This one's open, but nothing's coming out. There you go. A little bit. I'm gonna press it 20 times. And you'll see. So that was 20 times. Closing the valve. She was able to see this line had a lot of air, but pressing it 20 times, like I told you, just be constantly pressing it, like press it all the way down and then release and then press back all the way in. Is gonna feel hard. Let me see if I close this one. I believe I did. So let me just get this one and get the other side ready to bleed it too. Okay. So my little clamp has to go in there too. Make sure your other line is touching water. I mean the other fluid. That way it's gonna prevent, you know, bubbles, you know, from getting in there. Let me see if I can do it like this. It's hard to work on this The rear has more space. It's down. Yeah, you gotta make sure that it's all the way in, and the clamp is actually, you know, like grabbing the valve. So we'll do the same thing 20 times with this one. The valve is open, getting some fluid out. 20 times. Gonna stop it at 4. I'm closing this and refilling. The brakes feel hard now. I didn't run out of that much fluid, so pour more fluid. Didn't really have, I mean, I did have fluid, but the brakes are getting like super hard now. So I believe it's because the tool just went back and closed my valve. So I'm going to see now. And probably I can get air out. Okay, pressing it 20 times. Closing the valve. Well, this one did it 28 times because the brakes didn't fail, you know, like, but as you can see, all that fluid is clear. So that's actually, you flush your system, you purge it, you do everything same time, making sure you got brakes. Yeah, don't lose the little clamp. Little clamp helps. So as you saw on this side, that's how important it is, you know, to put the clamp like well tight with the bleeder valve. That way, you know, and make sure, you know, you open your valve, make sure, you know, that it's actually open, you know, and the tool is actually like holding up, or, you know, in a way where you can just like sit right. Now I'm going to the driver. The system now feels much better. Okay, this is the front driver's side. I should put a wrench in. 11 millimeters. And you're good. Plug one in. Opening the vault. So as you can see, that last line had a lot of air. So just make sure. Right now I already fill up the master cylinder and it's all ready to level. I'm sharing content, that actually works. Believe me, there's not really like big science, about ABS system, about bleeding the lines. Not really, because it's just lines, they just flow, and with fluid, but that's all. Like really, there's. So as you see, that last line, had a lot of air, but the brakes are good now. Haven't really show you guys how the car starts to rise. Just clean my hands. See, now you just gotta drive your car, see if it feels good. If you feel like there's still air, like trapped in the system, do the same thing. Start with the rear ones, then front passenger, then front driver. That's pretty much it. Like, believe me, if you have no brakes and you do this, just fill up, your reservoir, your master cylinder to the top, close it so there's no air, like, so it won't act, like a vacuum system, and suck air into the cylinder. So just make sure, you close that cap and fill it up. It's good if you do 15 times, for the rear one, since it takes longer, to travel. So less fluid actually, like gets into the to the bottle that I use to bleed the system. but just make sure you do it 15 times, come back, you know, and like refill it. No, 10 times the back. And make sure, you know, if you have a buddy, you know, helping you or somebody, just make sure, you know, when they tell you there's no more air, I mean, that line should be fine. I hope like you really understand, you know, what I was trying to show. And pretty simple, you know, just open the valve. Whenever you see no more bubbles coming and you only see air, and you got someone close over there, you know, to close it, then, you know, even better, because if you saw on the videos, you know, I was kind of like the right time, you know, before, you know, air, you know, went back into the system. So it's I mean, it doesn't cost that much. It took me about like an hour, and that was because I was doing the video, you know. I was like making sure, you know, like trying to put some stands or whatever, you know, to get better vision of what I'm doing. So that's pretty much it. The car's working, you know, ABS working. I'm gonna change the brake pads. For the brake pads, I don't have to do no bleed, but I will show you how to do them too. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys, you know, and I hope to see you on the next video. Now, you like me and you like to keep your engine bay really clean, just use one of these. And right now, since you have fluid all over, just gotta use this thing. Spray some soap with water so all that fluid can go down. Believe me, water is not as dangerous as not dangerous, you know, it's just dangerous for your parts, because you don't want to oxidize, you know, like nothing here. Make sure you spray this really good. After this, you know, you can blow it with a compressor and just spray some WD-40. That should actually be enough, but just make sure you spray where all the fluid went. Believe me, we're not spraying to any electrical parts here. We're just spraying like on top of the transmission, some of the engine covers right here. But if you want to do this professionally, you know, like you do it the same way as I'm doing it, but then you just have to like use a little compressor gun and just blow all the water, and then just apply WD-40, which I'm going to do next. Now, once you get a little compressor, once you have your compressor, it should be good now. And now we just spray some WD-40, and that's gonna get rid of the residue of the water. It's a little hard, not hard to explain, you know, but it helps. WD-40 helps. Okay, now you're afraid, you know, that the parts are gonna get corroded here, just put some WD-40. And then just let it sit. Just kind of wipe it off. Believe me, WD-40 is not gonna do anything, but just what's it called? It's just gonna protect everything. It's just gonna add like a little coating, like lubricant. You know, it's just going to lubricate whatever, you know, needs to be lubricated. That's pretty much it. After you successfully did all that, just wipe it down. The car is ready to go. Remember, if you have brake problems, just bring the car back, lift it up, and do the same procedure until, you know, like you get all the air out of the system.